أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So today I'm going to present an article. Actually, I have published it as a journal article in Dr. Yassir's journal. So I'm just present the part of it today as a conference presentation. So the title is Enlightened City, a society established on the prophetic motivational model. So in this paper, what I did is because if we look in today's Muslim communities, we will see many distortions. So there are many not very harmonious. There are different groups. People have generation gaps. So they don't want to work like together. Different generations, different groups. But if we look into the Prophet society, the Madinatul Munawwarah, we will see that the Prophet ﷺ has created a society which was guided by some principles, and it was a harmonious society from Muslims' perspectives. Although there were wars, there were other issues in the society, but if we look it as a whole, we will see there was a communal harmony, and people, they from all walks of life, so all ages, races, and backgrounds, they work together. So then what I did, I came up with this prophetic motivational model. And I also compared the prophet's motivational model with other motivational models, such as Maslow's theory. So these were the research questions that I worked on. So what caused harmony among different communities in the prophetic society? How did the prophet's leadership strategies develop youth? How did the prophet encourage respect between generations? And how can modern societies implement these strategies? So if we look into the community harmony in prophetic society, so actually in the paper I have discussed community from many perspectives. So there are many definitions of communities in the dictionary. So if we look into the prophet society, that enlightened city has many communities. So for example, we have Aus, we have Al-Khazraj, we have Jews, we have people like migrants from Makkah, and we have probably other communities and as well. So we have Arabs, we have non-native speakers, and we have different generations. So if we look into the Constitution of Medina, it defined Ummah as a group which is working towards a common political goal and common good or common religious goals. So that was the Ummah. So that's basically the Muslim Ummah in that society, where there was Aus, Khazraj, and there were people from Makkah, there were people from other countries. Say, for example, Salman al-Farsi, radiallahu anhu, he was migrated from Iran to Medina. And then we have Jewish in the society. So in that society, actually, people from different religions also work together to some certain extent. So there was a constitution of Medina, which was a model for diverse societies. And how did Prophet ﷺ use this like a diverse society and cultivated the harmony and mutual respect in that society? So I did also, in the article, I did also talk about motivation. So the Arabic word for motivation is dafa. So dafa means that people rush towards something doing good. So that's the strategy actually Prophet ﷺ did instill in the people of that time. So they were actually very motivated to do something good, and they used to rush towards that doing good things. So then what I did, so I did look into the different motivational theories. So there is one very popular motivational theory, which is Maslow's motivational theory. So in Maslow's motivation theory, he actually talked about an hierarchy of the motivation of people. So he started from psychological needs. So because some of the theories, they look human beings as sort of animals. So They think that we will, so people need that psychological needs. So if our psychological or physiological needs, so if our physiological needs are met, then we will move towards safety needs. Then after that, we will move towards love and belongings, esteems, cognitive, and towards the ends, we have this transcendence needs or self-actualization needs. So what does that mean? That then when people have enough, say for example, they have enough food, they have safety, they have cognitive needs, they have education, employment, enough money, then actually people will start to do good for others, and they will try to connect themselves to a higher being, or they will be selfless to work towards others. But if we look into prophetic motivational model, so Prophet Muhammad SAW actually from day one, what he tried to connect people to the higher beings. So if we look into Prophet's first speech in Medina, when Rasul SAW arrived in Medina, so he ordered people, or he advised people to give food to the poor, and he said to keep the kinship, the relationship, and he asked people to pray at night when others are sleeping. So here we see that Rasul Sallam talked about night prayer in his very first speech, where actually he's trying to connect people to a higher being. And he's also talking about giving food, so helping others by giving food. And in one of the narrations, he also talked about ransoming the slaves. So Prophet Muhammad Sallam from day one is connecting people to that higher being, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that's the motivation model of Muslims. So from day one, we are connected to that higher being, and we are not animals, but we have some needs. So before that physiological needs, we actually have that spiritual connection. Then Prophet Muhammad also focus on love and belonging, so being part of a community. So keeping kinship, spread peace, and visit the sick. So love and belonging, if we look into Maslow's theory, it goes after safety needs. But if we look into Prophet's motivational model, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he actually, from day one, he actually instilled that relationship or that communal bonding among people. So they help each other, not only relatives, but they also help others. They visit the sick, they spread food, they give food to the poor, and they spread peace. So that's love and belonging. Now, if we look into security and safety, so that actually, if people have enough food, say for example, if I have enough and I give to others, or probably I don't have enough, because the Sahabas, they used to share even the half of a date if they have that. So from that's how they are creating actually security and safety. So if people have food, people have shelter, and people have freedom from slavery, and there is peace everywhere, so there will be security and safety in the society. So Rasul started from that spiritual connection with the higher being. Then he also focused on love and belonging, so being a part of the community. So first we are connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then we are actually the part of a community, and then we work towards the good of that community. And when we have all those, then we actually have esteem, so we will have dignity for ourselves, and we will have dignity for others, and by providing life necessities and freedom. So that's the one I discussed in my paper, that prophetic motivational model. Now, if we look into the key differences between Maslow and prophetic model, so Maslow has this hierarchical progression, so basic needs before higher goals, but some of the literature they talked about is not necessarily hierarchical goals. Probably some needs can meet before others, but that physiological needs actually the first one. Now, focuses on individual self-actualization. That's what Maslow's theory is. But if we look into prophetic model, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam emphasizes communal growth alongside personal development. So, and instill spiritual and social responsibilities from the start, because that's actually the speciality of Muslim societies. Because in the West, people are very individual. They have this individualistic society, and unfortunately, that is also going towards the Muslim communities. But prophetic
Yeah.
motivational model, Prophet focuses on this. Now, I also talked about some sayings and motivational components. Say, for example, some of the sayings of Prophet Muhammad SAW, I did talk about that and how it connects to transcendence, love, and belonging. So, for example, the believer is not he who eats his fill while his neighbor is hungry. So, one Mufti was also talking about this hadith. So, how Rasul SAW focused on neighbors and communities and every other people. Now, prophetic strategies for communal and social harmony. So, Prophet Muhammad SAW did this spiritual drive. Then he implemented policies and established practice on that. And then he instigated sense of belonging, love, and respect by implanting those that universal empathy. Now, in the paper, I did also talk about youth leadership and empowerment. So, how Prophet Muhammad SAW did mentor young leaders. Say, for example, Musab ibn Umar, Osama ibn Zaid, Ali ibn Abi Talib, radiallahu anhu.